You call it stagnation, I call it balance.
And I call you an idiot.
Here's a thought. Try to be a little more diplomatic when you talk to the mayor.
See what I'm working with here, 1K?
It's not often that a puzzle game manages to be engagingly character-driven, especially when it doesn't actually feature a single living character. But that's exactly what Crow Team seem to have managed with the Talos Principle too. Set many centuries after the extinction of mankind, the game finds Earth inhabited by a small civilization of sentient robots. Robots who are seemingly fascinated with learning about human history and prophesizing about the very nature of consciousness and what it means to be human.
We're here to solve this puzzle, not to discuss philosophy.
This overtone of thinking plays out across a beautiful and challenging 3D puzzler that expands on the concepts of its 2014 predecessor. The stunning environments that blend future tech with Greek mythology and ancient Egypt are riddled with mind-bending problems that introduce new concepts like gravity manipulation, mind transference, and portals, as well as bringing back lasers. Lots of lasers. Also new this time around is a photo mode. Available at launch on the PC version and coming to console in a post-launch update, it has some pretty interesting and occasionally complicated features to capture your robotic ponderings. Accessed via the pause menu by default, it's worth heading into the controller settings to assign the optional button shortcut. Left or right on the D-pad are good options here and make it easy to jump in and take advantage of the various photographic features. The camera itself enjoys total freedom of movement with a large range that extends around 80 meters from the main character, and it's great to see a movement speed option to make it easier to get around or to compose a shot with more precision. Also on this tab you'll find the option to set the resolution of the captured image. It cannot increase the quality settings on the fly, but does at least mean that it's possible to capture 4K shots while playing at a lower resolution to boost performance. Elsewhere, a combination of focus, aperture values and sensor settings are available to control the depth of field. There's also an autofocus option that tracks distance to the center dot, but it unfortunately doesn't seem to recognize the character at all. Working manually then, there's a simple distance value to set the focus, and 12 aperture f-stops to adjust the depth of field with defocus added to both the foreground and the background. The additional sensor width option is something that many people may be unfamiliar with, but essentially this will exaggerate the blur effect to any chosen focal length and aperture value. When it comes to post-process and image options, this is a photo mode with a lot to offer. Chromatic aberration, film grain, sharpness and vignette are all present, while the colours can be altered using a whole host of features across the display, filter and colour grading tabs. Whether it's with simple preset colours and render modes, temperature and tint adjustments, or the full RGB control over saturation, contrast and gamma, there's certainly a lot to work with and can give all kinds of stylistic effects. A handful of frames and a couple of logos come with similar freedom of adjustment, though one of the most impressive features has to be the final character tab. As well as a simple visibility toggle, this offers the ability to assume the appearance of other members of the robotic community and to cycle through lots of preset poses. With almost 100 of each to choose from, there's plenty to try out, and although the characters may all look alike, aside from their colours and numbered chest plate, the variety of poses is impressive. Even a few with a pet cat who wants to get in on the action. Add in the small X, Y and Z axis movement and the 9 facial expressions with variable strength and eyeline, and there's a wealth of opportunity to play around with how the character engages with all sorts of scenarios. The Talos Principle 2 is a devilishly challenging game at times, but also a beautiful one that is well worthy of some photographic attention. It seems like Crow Team knew that too, and it's excellent to see the game include a photo mode with some deceptively detailed features. It's a feature set that goes beyond the bare essentials and, although it may come with a small learning curve for some users, it's a photo mode that should serve virtual photographers well.